How are you all doing? There we go. Okay. It is Wednesday, April 16th. That is the day after tax day. So hopefully all of your taxes are done. And if not, I am sorry. I know taxes are not fun, right? Um, I know every year there's always somebody, one or two or 10 somebodies who are kind of new to the crochet blogger yarny biz who ask, what's the best way to do my taxes? And I always give the same answer: CPA. CPA. I don't care what they charge. There is no way that they charge more than the money and the time that they save me. CPA. I mean, if you don't own your own business, that's a whole different story. But yeah, if you do, CPA. Monica says, good morning from cold, foggy California. I miss cold, foggy California. I remember those days. All right, Sarah says hello. Monique says hello from cold Toronto. So happy to be here. Of course, Toronto cold and California cold are definitely different. And Sarah says, so right, I have a CPA because he knows more about money than I do. Exactly, that's the thing. It's like, there's people always like, oh, but I don't want to have to pay the CPA, and can't I just be really careful? And I'm like, this is their profession. So when you have a business, they know all of the various, like, the deductions and the credits and everything that you get. Like, there was some there was some random business credit that I got this year that I hadn't heard anything about. I suppose if I was doing my own taxes, I would have researched and found it out. But really, the amount of time I would have been spending researching that I could have been spending like doing other working on my business, right? I mean, we got credit. I didn't realize, even though like when we paid for Kyla to go to the summer program, because my kids are seniors this year, but over the summer, Kyla spent 5 weeks in at SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, at their Rise and Star program, okay, this summer between junior and senior year. And yes, it was broken down into like, room and board and tuition and blah, blah, blah. So tuition was listed on there, you know, but it didn't really like click that I could get tuition credit with the taxes. But I think they only, I know when my CPA was talking to me, she said that, usually you can only get the credit for 4 years. Like there's a max amount of credit. I think it was like, I don't know if it's a state or or a federal thing, but I think it was like up to $5,000 of tuition you can get some sort of credit on. Not $5,000 back, that would be nice, but up to $5,000 of tuition per year for up to 4 years. So, is I think how she explained it. So she was like, well, she's going to be doing 4 years of college, so you don't have to do it this summer. But I was like, you know what? We kind of, hopefully 5 years from now, we'll be in a better place financially than we are right now. So why don't we go ahead and start this year? But I wouldn't have even thought that if I was doing my taxes all by myself. Bobble Clubhouse says, hi, Jesse, and yes, to CPA all the way. Bobble Clubhouse is the beautiful and amazing and talented and awesome Samantha, who I love dearly. Monique says they are in the business to make money work. Exactly. And over here, Bobble Clubhouse, yes, says yes, CPA all the way. See, isn't she pretty now that you can see her little picture? But she's way more than that. Like, yeah, way more than just pretty. She's amazing and talented, and I love her dearly. Good human. All right. So, you know me, I always like to chat a little bit at the beginning here while everybody gets here. So hopefully we've all, like I said, hopefully we've all got our taxes done and are not in too much pain from having done the taxes. And we had on this past Friday was the April, what month is this? April issue of Crochet Foundry. Next month in May, right in the middle of May, we will put out another issue of Crochet Foundry. So that will actually be considered the summer issue because we are transitioning to seasonal issues, okay? So, and I know I've told you before, but just in case there's different people here, the reason we're transitioning to seasonal issues is that, um, there's only so many people I can afford to hire. Um, and with the amount of work that I have to put in to each individual issue, I was not having the time, first of all, for Jesse at Home, my original blog, and second of all, for all of the social things I want to do with you guys, all of the community building I want to do. I didn't have the time for it all, right? So we're transitioning over to seasonal. May will be the summer issue, and then we'll come out every 3 months. Okay, and that will free up time for me to give more TLC to our community. Um, the main area where I'm going to be focusing will be on the Patreon, um, and the blog. Those are my main areas, the Patreon and the blog. So follow the Crochet Foundry blog, or just pop in every once in a while. If you join our newsletter, is the best way to always know what's going on. So when you go to Crochet Foundry, let me pop over to show you the site. When you go over to crochetfoundry.com, okay, originally you are going to see, this is crochetfoundry.com right here. And if you just scroll on down on mobile, on any device, if you scroll on down, hiccups, there's the join the newsletter, okay? And then you can also see here, talks about the current issue, and under magazine, the very top thing here is current issue. If you are on a mobile device and you do not see the navigation bar, there are those 3 lines over on the side that we also call a hamburger menu. If you click on that, that'll pop out this menu, and then that's where you can get to all of these things. So if you go to current issue, you will see here is our current issue. It's the April issue. And as I said, in the middle of May, we will put out the summer issue, okay? So, and this is Crystal, one of our newer models here. Crystal also does nails, which is so fun because the very first time that we did, that we had a photo shoot with everybody, which was actually this photo shoot with like some of the old models and some of the new models. One of my other models broke her nail, and she had a function like the next evening she had to go to, and she's like, I don't know where I can go. Like, I haven't found a really good nail place, and I have to go to work tomorrow. And she's like, so I have to find somebody who can do it either this evening or real quick tomorrow. And Crystal runs her little nail place out of her house. Like, she has a little, she has her little nail studio is also like part of her house, or attached, I don't know, whatever. So Crystal was able to help her, and now Katie always goes to Crystal, and I love it. It's so fun the way that everybody connects, right? Monique says, yes, we absolutely can. Can we talk about how cute that sweater is with the squares? I have already gotten several emails back. I sent out the newsletter on Sunday this weekend, and I've already gotten several replies to the newsletter saying how much they love this. And did you notice, because Crystal's an awesome model and knew it was important, that there are pockets? Pockets. Not only that, but you see how the front of the magazine, it says 8 crochet patterns for spring, 7 patterns made entirely out of rectangles, 4 easy skill level patterns, 3 patterns that transform, and 2 Tunisian crochet patterns. Okay, so this pattern on the front here is obviously the crochet pattern for spring, they all are. It is a pattern made entirely out of rectangles, and it is an easy skill level. So everything is a rectangle. We've got the squares. Oops, I touched my screen, and now look. How do I, wait, no, go back. Oh, there's a little X. the bottom screen, the one that I'm sharing with you with the touch screen, I accidentally touched it. These are all little squares, right? And obviously squares are kind of rectangles. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Right? We all remember this. So there's the squares here, and then everything else is just rectangles. This body piece is a rectangle, the back body piece is a rectangle, the sleeves are rectangles, the cuffs are rectangles, and then you join everything together, and even the pockets are made out of rectangles. Okay, so, and Monica says, pockets, yes, I love pockets in all my clothes. I know, a lot of times when I put the design call out, I'll write in the design call bonus points for pockets. Because who doesn't love pockets? Pockets are inside. Yes, so actually that is, if you'll notice here, where can I put, okay, you can see my little pointy finger here. Right here is the side seam of the sweater, okay? So this pocket is in the side seam. So when you seam it up the side, you seam it down to the top of the pocket, and then you seam it from the bottom pocket down, and then there's the pocket that's just, I don't know if it's one rectangle folded in half or two rectangles joined, I don't remember, that goes in right here on the seam. So when you're wearing it and your hand's not in the pocket, you don't necessarily see the pocket, but then you can put your hand in the pocket. Okay, so, and of course, if you would prefer a patch pocket, you can always just, you could make like a smaller version of this one and put the patch pocket on, although this has, is a little bit more holy, the design, so it wouldn't be quite as secure, whereas the pocket here is entirely made out of a more secure stitch, that a more solid stitch, so that things you put in your pocket won't fall through, right? Monique says that is so good. I have a friend who always thinks of me when she finds clothing with pockets because I love pockets. I have an Uncle Gary. I think I've told you before, my mother is the oldest of 11 children. So my youngest uncle, Dominic, is actually 7 months younger than me. My Uncle Gary is the second youngest kid out of the 11, and he's like 5 or so years older than me. Dominic was a surprise change of life baby. So my Uncle Gary's like, 5 or 8 years older than me. And when I first moved, because my family, a lot of them all live up in the Salem area, Salem, Massachusetts area. They live in Beverly, which used to be part of Salem. Old Salem was bigger than it is now. Now, Old Salem is actually Salem, Hamilton, and Beverly. There you go. A little bit of witchy history for you. So, my family mostly lives in Beverly, Mass, and on my mom's side. And when I moved to New York originally to work at Adelphi University, run their costume shop, I would occasionally go to Boston, to Beverly, to visit family. And my Uncle Gary and I we became really close. We kind of, they were the closest geographically family I had. I was farther away from my parents, my brother, everything. And we would, like one point he won tickets to Fiona Apple concert. This was like right the aughts, the 2000s, early 2000s, the first decade of the 2000s. He won tickets to Fiona Apple concert, and so I went. And then at one point he bought a new car, and apparently you need to drive the car like 500 miles to break it in. So he came down to Manhattan. He came down to visit me, and we went and saw a show together. I think it was called the something up the mountain, the long trail up the mountain or something. Patrick Stewart was in it. It was a Broadway play, but it was a play, not a musical. It's the only Broadway play I've ever seen, because I usually see musicals, but it was starring Patrick Stewart, so of course we had to go. But anyway, he and I now have this running joke on Facebook that we've had probably for the life of Facebook, that he insists women aren't allowed to have pockets, which is a total joke. Like, he might be more of a feminist than I am, but it's this thing between him and I. When I'll put up a post that says, all women want are like, tons of coffee, a pet dragon, and pockets, or whatever. He'll be like, everything else is fine, but no pockets for you. So it's become this running joke. Can confirm that pockets are crocheted in the round into the slit in the body. Okay, so that's like even. Again, though, we're talking, it's a rectangle, right? Very cool. So, blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Yeah, so this pattern, like, I'm so glad. Like, there might be sometimes there's like a really showy pattern. There's all sorts of, like, there's showy patterns, and there's like really difficult patterns, or elaborate patterns, or complex, or whatever you want to say. But there was something about this one that just was like, I just fell in love with it. And the designer is Jessica. I can't remember her last. Jessica. I might not be saying this correctly. Kocharski. Sorry, KHO. What's right there? Okay, she designed two. This one, the Ursa boyfriend style cardigan, KHOCHARE, and also you'll see the Sakura convertible dress. Which is also out of rectangles, and you can choose if you want it to be a dress or a top. And this is her first time designing for us. And I don't know, I really like her design style. It's very cool. Monique Patrick Stewart all is the wow. That is wow. Yeah, it is. I've also seen um, when the very first time. I can't believe that at this point I'm old enough that there's a revival or a revival on Broadway of a show I saw the first time it came out. But when Spamalot came out originally, um, for Valentine's Day, I got my husband and I tickets. I think we were still just dating then. I don't remember. But that had it was starring Tim Curry. So I've seen Tim Curry on Broadway. Also, uh, 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 Hank Azaria and David Hyde Pierce were also in it. So it was a pretty cool cast. I've seen some pretty amazing, awesome people on Broadway. Um, anyway, let's see. All right, so why don't we go ahead and yes, and go ahead and look through this issue now. Everybody has had plenty of time to show up. So over here on this next tab, I have the entire issue. So I'm going to kind of scroll through it kind of fast, and then I will pull up the photos that have multiple photos of each of the patterns, right? So here is our cover and inside cover and table of contents. Now, when you get to this table of contents page, you can click on these. You see how I get the hand over them as opposed to just the cursor. I get the hand. You can click on these and it'll pop you to those pages, right? So that is cool. All right, and we have the welcome to the Foundry, the meet the designers, and our well, you'll see in the next thing I'll tell you about the this is limb loss and difference awareness month, and so that's our theme for the free ads that I put in the magazine. Behind the collection, we have Rachel Weiss's stunning Spikes bag. I think I was telling you guys that this was one that I really like in this magazine, in this issue as well. And you can see, again, look, it's all rectangles, right? So that is cool. So you sew the 4 rectangles and then you sew them together and you make this. So these are all from her, the design proposal that she sent in. And then this is one of the pictures of the finished piece. You can see she gave me 2 color options. I went with the lighter one because it fit with the other colors better and because I thought it would show off the stitches a little better. Under, certain light or whatever, these 2 colors might have blended together a little bit. I wanted to make sure we got good photos. So I felt like this would show off the really cool stitching a little better because that stitching is just, it really shows it off. Now, what I think would have been really fun was to do this ecru and then like 4 different colors. See, these are just various ideas y'all can do when you're making your own version, right? Because this bag is very, very useful. It's great for a project bag, and it'll really holds a lot, right? And I think it would be fun to do an ecru for the part that's ecru here, and then like a fun, different, bright color for each of these 4 rectangles. I think that would be super fun. And it looks like, let's see, Monique says, very spring. Sarah says, I'm going to make a 4 color version because I'm going to stash bust. Exactly. It would be great stash busting pattern. And it'll be, just fun to show off your love of colors. And the stitching is, it's really pretty. They're easy stitches, guys. It's a very easy stitch to do. Don't be scared. We do our best to make sure that anything that could possibly be scary is not when we have it on here. And over on Instagram, we have another comment again from Sam at Bobble Clubhouse. Says, Spamalot is such a fun show with a little laughy face. Yes, it is. It really is. It was a whole lot of fun. But the stitch looks complicated, even though it's easy, which just makes it even better because then people are seriously impressed. They're like, oh my goodness, you're so talented. And you're like, it was easy. Right? Isn't that just the best? All right, so now we have the little from Jessie, peace, love, and crochet. There's going to be obviously transition. April is a month of renewal and transitions. It brings with it the hope of brighter days to come and a reminder that you can change and grow. Okay. So keep that up. Remember that, guys. You know, some days are tough, but we can all change and grow. We can all become better. We've seen people, right? I mean, look at well, I don't want to get into politics. I was going to bring up somebody who like originally I wasn't fond of, but recently did some pretty impressive stuff. Um but anyway, yeah, there's um plenty of people out there, and I mean, I've seen it in my personal life too. People who originally, you know, when you first meet them, they're like, maybe they're just a little, especially if you're my age, when we were younger and it was kind of cool to like gay bash and stuff. And like, you didn't even think you were gay bashing. It was just kind of like the cool way to talk. And then you grow up, then, you know, people grow up and they feel bad about it and they don't do it anymore and they become really amazing allies. People change, and they learn, they change, they become better. You can do the same thing. If you're not happy with part of your life, then go ahead and change it, dudes. It is all good. There is no shame in changing. It shows growth. All right. Love. Oh, Monique is laughing at my laugh. I have a very funny story. I'll have to tell you sometime, maybe at one of the sit and stitches, Monique, about. I saw a show in Chicago with David Schwimmer, Ross from Friends, and I was sitting in the front row. And after the show, because a friend of mine worked for the same theater company that produced that one. It was one that he had founded when he was a little younger. And after the show, we were chatting with him and his friend who was, oh my goodness, I've suddenly lost his name, Jason Bateman. And we were chatting and I laughed. And like Jason said something funny. I laughed and David goes, "You," and I'm like, "Oh shit." You're the one in the front row with the laugh. And I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "No, no, no. I want to put you in my pocket and take you with me everywhere I go." He's like, "I want you to always be in the front row." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." Because I thought like I had totally embarrassed myself. It was really funny. But apparently he thought it was great that I had the laugh in the front row. The girl with the laugh in the front row. "You're the girl with the laugh in the front row." I'm like, "Oh, shit." So, guys, look who I have my interview with. Okay? Do you guys like, oh my goodness, the gift lady. The gift lady. Right? Mochi Mochi Land. She is so cool. I know it's knit, but I don't care. She is so cool, Anna. She is just a joy. I met her at Vogue Knitting Live in New York City, and she is just a total sweetheart. And she's got some TV thing coming out. That's what this is from. This picture is from. So this is just an awesome little interview with her, and she's got some great books out there. So we just have this amazing interview with her that I'm so excited about. Look how long it is. I love it when like they give me such wonderful answers. It's just such a lovely interview. I cannot take credit for amazing interviews. The reason the interviews are amazing, like I work really hard to come up with good questions and I talk to them beforehand. Before I put together the interview, I talk to them. I make sure I look at all their websites. I do the research to make sure I'm asking good questions. But, you know, they can still answer them in 2 or 3 words. I love it when they actually take the time and give us these elaborate answers that really make us get to know them. And it also gives us really good, like we can learn from them all, right? It's such a lovely interview. I'm so happy. And look, she makes fun clay stuff too. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Um, our incredibly intelligent and lovely Joanne has continued her crocheting with various types of yarn series in projects, creating successful crochet projects with semi-synthetic yarn. So we have those here. And if you want to grab some of the yarn that's linked here or the furls, hooks that are linked here, if you use those little links, those are affiliate links of Joanne's. So you pay the same price and she'll get a little commission on them, which is always nice, right? I love that. So you can get, and there's one in here for We Crochet. So she gave you some affiliate links so you can get the product she's talking about, and she can get a little commission, which is great. The article is about semi-synthetic yarns in general. You know, it's not specific to these ones. It's not like an ad, but these are products that, you know, that's a semi-synthetic yarn. This is the kind of hook she's talking about as far as metals. So yeah. All right. And I have continued my signature style article, ways to find and develop your signature style. So this is part 2 of it. Okay. And then we get into our patterns. And here is the first pattern. I had to put this one up because Crystal's little smile. She just was like, somebody said something and she made this cute little face. And I was like, oh my God, it's perfect. I'm like, Vero, you took an awesome photo. I mean, he takes lots of awesome photos, but this is so cute. And again, this entire photo shoot was done at Yarnia, which is it's my local yarn shop. Not I own it, but it is the local yarn shop that is local to me in Montclair, New Jersey. There was a little bit about it there on page like 2 or 3 at the very beginning. There's a link to their website, and I left Monique's comment up here. Here we'll go. Monique says, love it. Probably the story. What is a dance to meet the lady? Oh, what a chance. She was probably doing talk to text. What a chance to meet the ladies managers. Yes. Oh, wait. Then she says, oops. Oh, I do a dance to meet this manager person. She would do a dance. Monique would do a dance to meet the lady of the managers, Anna. Oh, she's just a regular person, down to earth, awesome person. Yeah, good human, incredibly talented, and just total sweetheart. All right, so at the very beginning of the issue on page like 2 or 3, there's a little link that has the link to Yarnia. I think it's shopyarnia.com. And you can actually order things from their website. But if you are ever in the northern New Jersey area here, it is a wonderful yarn shop owned by wonderful people. They both knit and crochet. You know, some of them might do more of one than the other, but they try to always have people there who can answer questions on both. They have fabulous classes. They have a podcast. They have all sorts of stuff. They're great. Again, great people. The shop opened because our little local knit and crochet group was sad that all of the shops around had closed. It was actually pre-pandemic. They hadn't closed because of the pandemic. They had closed because people were like retiring or whatever. And so several of the people from the group got together and opened a yarn shop. So it's opened by people who were originally hobbyists, and it's just wonderful. All right, so here is the cardigan, the Ursa boyfriend style cardigan, designed by Jessica. And you can see that's where the little pocket is there. Okay. So we'll go through more of the photos. You can see she has lots and lots of step out photos of like process photos to really help you along your way. All right, which is awesome. She is Jessica is totally fabulous. And look at these, the tester photos she has. And it's so comfy and cozy. I love it. I absolutely love it. And here is your color planning sketch. Okay, if you want to do like your stripes in different colors or your squares in different colors, we have this fabulous color planning sketch by our illustrator, Kyla. And then here's the next pattern. This is actually the designer. This particular designer, Smitha, always sends us the most amazing, lovely photos. She has one model who you guys I know will recognize that she uses for a lot of her stuff, but this is actually her. And sometimes she is the model, and I love this one, right? Isn't that? She looks so beautiful and peaceful, and it's a great photo. Absolutely lovely. So it is the Tunisian twist, and I have been wanting a really good version of this style of pattern for a while, and Smitha sent in the proposal for one, and I'm so happy. It's just 2 rectangles, and the front rectangle is twisted. And then you sew it together at the sides and at the top, leaving a little opening in the sides for your arms, and that's it. Super, super simple, right? Like, yeah, there it is, right here. This is it. It's just like you lay one rectangle on top of the other, and then you twist one. And one of the top ones, and seam it up, and it's so simple. Okay? And then it just ends up so pretty. right? Of course, obviously, whenever you do this, you want to use a stitch pattern that looks good on both sides, and Smitha did that. And so here we also have that same pattern. You can see this is the same sample um, that is on Smitha is also over here on Crystal, and they are different. There is a difference in size between the two of them, and it still looks good. It's made to be worn with a lot of ease. It's made to be nice and loose, so you can play around with it. But of course, she has a couple different sizes, and you just decide how much ease you want. And you can always, it's easy to adjust the size of this to yourself too, and that's all in here. And here is our color planning sketch, and you see now here's another sample um, in purple, and she's wearing it in this one. She's wearing it the same direction as Smitha did, but she pulled up the crossover higher and has an undershirt on it to give it a different look. And then here she is wearing it with the crossover in the back. So this is just a really fun. I love this color. The color is beautiful, right? And just very flattering on the model as well, on the stitcher as well. So. Okay, and here is that second pattern I was telling you about from Jessica, this Sephora convertible dress. It is also in the pattern. There is an explanation on how to make it just as a top, okay? You don't have to do, the tie string is optional, and you make the flowers, they're made as you crochet. So when you get to the flower, you change color and you make it, it's made within the row, and this is 4 rectangles. So here is one, here is the other one, and then the back has 2 of them. All right, and it's a fabulous little dress that is very easy to make. And I forgot to mute my cell phone. Hold on, it's probably spam. It is. And I will turn the volume down. Woo! I think I got it. All right. Um, doo-doo-doo. Love the tester's versions of the cardigan there. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Monique says she likes a garment with a lot of positive ease. And the Sephora convertible dress is so pretty. It is. It's so pretty. All right. And let's see. So here you can really see again. Jessica, like I said, gives us fabulous step-by-step photos, step-out photos. I love it. Here's the right back panel, the left back panel, showing how it joins. She uses stitch markers, tells you where to put them, and then you use them to know where to seam up to. Just, it's so, she's very considerate of making a pattern that is easy to succeed with. Okay, of course we always make sure everything is tech edited and all of that, but when the designer goes out of their way to find ways of creating it that's easier and to make sure to give us really good photos of the process, it just makes life even better. Monique says it would be a very nice jacket. It would. That would be a fun jacket. It really would. You could not seam up the very front, make it like the top, but not seam up the front. And then if you wanted to, put some sleeves on it, you could kind of do the sleeves the same way they were done for her other pattern with the rectangles. All right, let's see. And so we have, of course, our styling tips and customization tips and the color planner here. And look at these samples. All right, again, different size people. This one has she's using the tie string, and you can put the tie string wherever you want in any of these rows of eyelets. So she put hers up higher to give it more of an empire waist, whereas on the model Katie, you saw it more at her actual waistline. And then this model over here didn't use it at all, and she used this really fun, like this super fun spring color variegated yarn with the white flowers, and that's perfect for going to a picnic. This is a perfect little beach cover up, right? Look at that beach cover up, going to a picnic. I love it. These testers came up with some really cute creations. Let me close that, and let's see. I want to make sure. Okay, there we go. Now we have another Smitha pattern. This is the side knot vest. And you can see it can be worn over something pinkish. It can be worn over various things you want to wear it over. We have a chart here, and here you can really see really well. This is the model I was saying that you might recognize that Smith, because Smith always takes these fabulous patterns herself. When she sends in the sample, she also sends in these fabulous photos. And you can see that the piece is actually the top is actually, it's two rectangles. Again, it's seamed just at the two shoulders here and here. It's not seamed at all on the sides. You make a tie string and you tie it together at the sides. So you decide how high up you want to start, and then you can go ahead and lace it all the way down to the waist. And then you can use the amount of ease you want. And this is great because if you look at bodies, as people get bigger, they need more space under the armpit, right? Because you don't just get bigger side to side, you also get bigger front to back. So that means there's more, the side to side under your armpit is wider as each size gets bigger. So if you want this, so that amount of ease is it's not always going to be 3 inches of ease. Like on this size, she might have 3 inches of ease. From here to here might be 3 inches. But on my size, that would be closer to like 5 inches, right? So that's one of the really nice things about the lacing here is you decide how much ease you want. You decide what you want the rectangle size to be, and then your lacing helps you with your ease. Super fun, right? So here we go again. You can do it with the something that's a contrasting color that's really fun, and you can see the little tattoo going on back there. It's all sorts of nifty and fun. So here is the coloring pattern. Again, this is a rectangle, but the coloring color planner, I have suddenly lost my English. It's always been more of a drawing style than a schematic style. And look at these tester photos. So here we have, this tester is wearing hers over a nice like collared and cuffed shirt. And that is a lot of fun. She has kind of a variegated yarn with a little blue in there, so it goes with her pants. This one has a kind of a peasant style, lightweight, maybe linen-y t-shirtish, or shirt tunic top, and this really pretty red. And then I love this one. She made hers so it's a little wider. Okay, so she probably made a size a little bit bigger than she would actually normally. She made hers so that it doesn't have negative ease. Like most of these have negative ease, so they're pulled tight. Hers it looks like it might have a little bit of positive ease, which also drops the shoulder down, right? Because it's wider from side to side. And it makes this really, really fun kind of T-top. And she put a little stripe in here. Since the pattern is worked side to side, you can do that little stripe. I love it. And then here's another one. Again, you can see it doesn't have to be, up here on Katie, we have it looks like it's maybe a little racy. It's like a little bit, I don't know, a little bit, I can't think of the right word, but not necessarily racy, but it's more of a statement, more of a sexy kind of top. Whereas here, we have, this is very like, you could wear this to work in an office. These are all, they're over tops. They look very presentable, but they all look presentable. It just depends on your style. The style is much more low key, I guess. I don't know, but it's still a statement. It's still a statement, right? And it's still super fun. And I love the colors, and I really like her skirt. I just do. It's a nice skirt, right? And so you can see how you can make it fit to your own style. All right, and now here we have the bag. And if you're wondering what the top, that was in the March issue of the magazine. Originally, these two patterns were going to be in the same issue, which is why she's wearing this top in the photos with this bag. But they're not. So, sorry. Guess you'll have to buy the March issue as well as the April issue if you want both of these patterns. And that was by Naro's Creations. Um, anyway, here is that bag. Like I said, I mean, look how big it is. It's such a great, it's a great project bag. It's a great shopping bag. It looks like she's putting in some knit collage yarn in there because I can see there's like some little flower appliques on there. And I know that Yarnia carries knit collage yarn. And it is made out of, I believe, was it Lion Brand? Is that what she made this sample out of? No, Cascade Yarn Noble Cotton. Yes, awesome. Oh, look, it was right there too. And guys, you know that you don't. I don't know if you know or not. I'm telling you that the yarn reviews, the yarn reviews, you see again, my cursor turns into a little hand when I'm over it. You can click on it, and it'll take you to a link for that. Sometimes it's an affiliate link, sometimes it's not a link for that yarn. I will remind you that the program we use to put the magazine together does not have an option for open in a new tab. So if you're going to click on it, it will open it it will open it and like replace this tab with the new tab, which I personally find annoying. I don't like that a lot of times. So if you want it to open in a new tab, you can right click. Okay, I just right clicked and then choose open link in new tab, and then it'll open the link over in a new tab to get you to that that link, and then you can just go back to the other one, and you're still on the same page of the magazine. Okay. If you forget and you just click on it, it opens it right in the same tab. You can always just hit the back button over here usually, and that'll bring you back to the magazine. But yeah, I was gonna say, but it doesn't bring you to the page you were on. So this is where I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go over to page 4, which I happen to know is the table of contents, and we were on the Stunning Spikes bag. Ha! See, I cheated. All right. No, were we? Yes, we were. We were on the Stunning Spikes bag. Oh, so we were just at the very first photo of the Stunning Spikes bag. Here we go. And so now let's take a look at it. You can see, again, you saw before, it's made out of 4 rectangles. And so she was cool. She gave us a little sketch of once it's put together, so you can have the finished rectangle look and the finished bag. And then again, we've got some, this is by our designer, Rachel Weiss, but she has some really nice little step-by-step step out photos for the joining. All right, and lots of photos that Rachel provided, and our little sketch for your color planning here. All right, and you could always use you could actually make two versions of this if you want to be able to kind of choose all 4 little panels, because you really only see 3 of the panels here. So you could do that, or you could just you could do that. You could use that and just trace over top of it, or you could go ahead and use this for a color planning sketch. And here we have a sample. She made a really big one, right? Look at that. She made an even bigger version of it. It looks like, let's see, she used the same, unfortunately, I don't always get all of the info I want from the testers, and this one didn't tell me the yarn or the yarn that she used, but it looks like based on the number of spike stitches, yeah, it looks like she used the pattern as written, but just probably a bigger yarn and or bigger hook, or a yarn that stretches more. All right, so that's something you want to keep in mind is your yarn stretchy or not. But this made an even bigger tote bag. This is great if you're going to like the farmer's market and you want a nice size tote bag, or even again, going shopping for yarn or a project bag, it's even bigger, right? But that's something to keep in mind, guys. If you change the yarn and the hook and whatever, it's going to change your finished size. Not such a big deal when it's not something that you're wearing, so it doesn't have to be fitted. But still, if you wanted a smaller bag and you did this, you're not going to get a smaller bag. All right. Or if you wanted a bag this size and you used a smaller yarn and smaller needles, suddenly your bag is smaller, right? Things to keep in mind. All right. And then we have this flower top here. Again, we have some great charts with this one. lots of awesome charts. And this one is all rectangles. So we have the square, the little squares along the bottom, and then the two rectangles. And you saw before it was, you seamed it up a little bit in the front. You can choose how high you want to seam it in the front, and you can seam it in the back too if you want to. This one is not seamed in the back, but it is seamed up a little bit in the front. You decide, do you want it to be like a cover, a bathing suit cover, or something you wear over top of something else, or do you want to wear it as a shirt alone? I believe in the sample, yes. Okay, in the testers we can see that. Here is your coloring sketch, and it's shown just closed up a little bit, but you can see this person closed hers up. I think she has some ends to even still. Totally fine though. It makes us all feel human. She closed hers up higher on the front so it can actually be worn as a standalone top. I don't know if she closed the sides at all. You can, or you can choose not to, whatever you want to do. In the pattern, she only talks about closing, she only has you seam up one side a little bit, but yes, you can seam it up higher if you want to do something like this, and you could seam the sides a little bit too if you're making it as like a shirt that um, you're not wearing something covering underneath, you know. All right, so here are our tester samples and the yarn review. And she made a little like flower crown. It's just like a little covered piece of wire with a flower on it, and then you can like attach it into your hair however you want. All right, and then we have I believe this is our last rectangle pattern. There's one pattern after this that is entirely rectangles. It's almost entirely rectangles, but not entirely. And this is another Smitha pattern, and this is the transforming Tunisian. Okay, do you see how she's got buttons down here? It's button shut down here. Well, here's the just it as a rectangle, but look at this. It's got buttons in various places, and you'll see in a moment the little chart of where all the buttons and the buttonholes go. And the buttonholes actually, I don't believe the buttonholes are actually made buttonholes. You just do them within the border. You just like use that as the buttonhole, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. But this is the same piece buttoned different ways. So on these two, she actually buttoned it to make little sleeves, right? This one, it looks like she wrapped it and just and I don't know if she buttoned it at all. She just wore it as a wrap. This one is buttoned to make kind of a front poncho, whereas this one it's buttoned actually the same way. She's just wearing it a little differently, right? Which is fun. I really liked that one. I thought it was a really fun little look. And then here she buttoned the ends together and twisted it to make a little cowl. So super fun. And here you can see, obviously, this from the end of the button, from the buttons on one end to where the buttons start on the other end, this little spot right here is much longer, but the important thing is seeing this is the button placement, okay, for you. And she tells you how to do the different buttonings to make them to make it all work together. And here, oh, you know what? Are there? Oh yeah, there's buttons on one side and buttonholes on the other side of the ends. Good thing. I was thinking there was a mistake here, but there's not. So here, our illustrator, she drew the buttons like right on the edges, so you can plan out your colors. And here's where all of the buttons are again. And then look, this tester didn't put as many buttons and used really big buttons, which is super fun. This one, look how she's wearing the belt over it. That's such a fun little idea. And here she's just wearing it as a little wrap. It's probably got some buttoning shut down in the front there. And here again, we have a fun little wrap. I don't know if she's got the buttoning going on in the back or what, but I love the color on her. Some of these, and this one too, like they all actually, I don't know about this person since this is on a dress form, but all three of these testers chose colors that look really nice on them, right? They're very flattering colors for them. And this is a color I absolutely love. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, all three of these colors, especially these two, are like 2025 fall winter colors. That's kind of cool. This one is a little, it's like one of the secondary or tertiary fall winter colors, but these two are like two of the main fall winter colors. Pretty cool, huh? I wonder if they knew that. They might have. These testers are awesome. All right, and then our last pattern is the Rubik top by a different Rachel. This is Rachel Field as opposed to the other one is Rachel Weiss. Um, and you can see it's got the various rectangles joined together on the front, and you'll see it again on the back. But the sleeve is not rectangles. Well, I guess it kind of is, where this part is rectangle, and then it's all actually. So it is. Now that I'm thinking about it, they're actually all rectangles because this is made as a rectangle first, and then when you do the cuff part, it might be a tube. No, this is a rectangle. The cuff part might be a tube. Oh, no, it might be a rectangle too. It might be seamed all the way down. I can't remember. I'll have to take a look. But still essentially rectangles. Look at that. It's all rectangles. They're all rectangles. But you can see right here, and you'll see more, the sleeves are tied on with a tie string. You can put the bows at the top and the bottom. I think we put them on the bottom here, but in some of the tester photos at the top, it's probably nicer at the top when you put the sleeves on. You can do it with no sleeves at all. You can and leave it totally open. You could do it with the sleeves off, fold your tie strings in half, and then just seam it from under the armpit down to make it more of a tank without a totally open side, right? So there's different options here. And here you see the various pieces on the schematic. You have a nice close-up of the flat stitch seam, and here she's showing you the directions of the panels, the directions you're working. So these are the stitches where you started, and then these up here are the stitches where you ended. And you can see here we go on the back. And again, you can see that it's laced up. And here we go. Here, there's no lacing done at all. But like I said, if you fold your laces in half, so they're half as long, you can lace it. You can lace it like you would the side knot vest, where you start at the armpit and lace on down and tie the little bows at the bottom of the right at the waistline. If you want it that way, or you can leave it unlaced entirely and open like this. Different suggestions. Here we have your color planning sketch. Okay, and if you want the front and the back to be two different color choices, because the layout of the rectangles is the same, but you can make obviously they don't have to be the same color, so you can just do this twice and plan the front and the back as two different sets of colors. And so here we go. And actually this, I believe it was this one, if you saw it from the front, the colors on the front are different than the colors on the back. And it looks like this one might be too. So here we go. Here's some different design, different testers, and we have a couple that don't have the sleeves on. And and she doesn't have the sleeves on, but she did a little drawstring through the neck on this one. Okay, so that's obvious. That's like a little customization there. And then these people have their sleeves laced on. You can really see the lacing nicely on this one because she did it in a really nice little contrasting color. I love the colors on this one and this one because it's the Rubik top. This one is totally the Rubik cube colors, right? Isn't that fun? And this is actually Rachel Field, the designer. So she made the sample that we did the photos with, but she also made a second one with the Rubik cube colors, and she just called herself a tester, which I love. And look, the bonus, you can make a swatch pocket. You can use your swatch and tie it on as a pocket. Of course, you could stitch it on. You could top stitch it on, and it would like match the seaming. But I think the tying it on as a pocket is super fun too, right? Just remember, it's holy. Things will fall out if they're too small. And of course, we have our puzzle section that has the answers to the previous month's puzzle are in there. Yarn substitutions for all of the yarns used, the color, a single page with all of the color planning sketches, sneak peeks of what you will see in May, our fun little question of the month from Instagram, and some of our commonly used abbreviations. And there you go. Guys, it's 12:54. So I'm going to really quickly, because at 1 o'clock we have our sit and stitch, right? I'm just going to really quickly go through these photos. And let's see. We had a couple more comments. I think this was about the Sephora dress. Looks so delicate. And then, the different ways to wear the transforming Tunisian, and personalize things for own life. If I make the beautiful garments, will you look at these models? Hey, you know what? I love having the models who all have different looks, because you can see you don't have to be a stereotype model, size to whatever. You don't have to be like runway model, 80s runway model body and everything to look fabulous. You can put on something that you feel fabulous in, and when you feel fabulous, that kind of exudes from you. And that is one of whenever I'm looking for more models and I put in the ad, I always put, send me like 3 photos where you feel good in what you're wearing. Because what I want to see is, I want to see that you can put something on and we can see that when you feel good, it radiates from you. Because that is what we want at Crochet Foundry. We want something that you feel good wearing, which then makes you feel, it gives you confidence, right? And when you're confident, that's a very attractive, and I don't mean that like necessarily in a romantic attractive, just very attractive to people in general. Very gravity, like people gravitate towards people who feel confident, especially if they're confident and still kind. People gravitate to that. So creating something you feel confident in is amazing. I'm not sure which pattern blew your mind, Sarah, but they're all pretty amazing. Monique is being a goofball and Monica is being amused. I love this sweater, the sleeves. Yes, the Rubik top, beautiful issue. Thank you. All right, so we do have obviously various photos here. I'm just going to scroll through them so you can see them, because we have to get to our sit and stitch. Okay, so here's just a bunch of our various model photos. And again, I mean, like, they're all different. They're different height, ethnical backgrounds, and all of that. And yet, when they feel confident and happy in what they're wearing, they exude that confidence, and it comes out, right? So here we go. I love this bag. And yep, lots of gorgeous photos from Smitha. Different people wearing the same thing, still looking, I mean, like, look at the confidence. Like, you don't have to be, blonde size 2 to look absolutely stunning in something. So I love Crystal so much. She's a lovely model. But I'm very happy with all of our models here at Crochet Foundry that we found. All right, so guys, we are going to get going, because like I said, we have our sit and stitch coming up here in like 2 minutes. So again, real quick, it's in the description of this of our video here. But here we go. If you go to crochetfoundry.com, under community, there's an event calendar, and that will remind you when our upcoming sit and stitches are. The ones that say at the Foundry, this is the afternoon sit and stitch, and there's an evening sit and stitch. The ones that say at the Foundry, those are open to everybody. They're completely open to everybody. If you click on it, it will give you the register here, and if you'll get the join link here if the meeting has already started. So if you click on this, you're going to get the join link here at this point. So there you go. And I hope to see all of you here in a minute or two once we get the sit and stitch going. And I will talk to you all again either in a minute or next week. All right. Have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'll see you around. Bye-bye.